the Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras!
All hail!
And welcome to another episode of Tales from the Parade Route. Tonight we have the very special honor of celebrating 50 years with the captains of the Krewe of Dreux, Jimmy and Dave. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
So, 50 years. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
So, I've read a little bit about y'all with a little bit of the traditions, but I've never really heard the full story of how'd y'all come to be. Tell us a little bit about the origins of the Krewe.
Around 1972, okay? Had a bunch of guys living in a fourplex on the corner of Dreux and Franklin Avenue, hippies, and got together for a party, having a good time, and decided we ought to have our own parade. So one of the kids that lived down the way, they grabbed his American Flyer wagon, they gathered up all the bottles of liquor and beer they had, their doubloons and beads. And, you know, back then you had neighborhood bars we had every couple of blocks. So they went bar to bar, toasting and throwing doubloons and having a little thing. Talking about a very small party of people. And it went over so well the next year, about twice as many people went. And it started growing until by the time you got to the 80s, you had thousands. And you had literally people from all over coming to it. The founder and original captain, Big Dave LeBayan, was a classic. He was kind of a cross between a Reb soldier and a pirate. You know, it was a big guy, okay? Loud and very demonstrative and all.
Had a lot of character.
And basically we had Tank Thorson was the proprietor of a little hole-in-the-wall bar on St. Roch and Prentice called the Bacchus Bar. And that was our meeting place, and that was the place that we started out and wound up at on Dreux Day. And this will be our 50th year. And we've had 2 years that we didn't parade last year. And we had the year, I think, 1996, I think it was, when Pennington came in. Yeah. We had never had a permit or anything like that. It was just, you know, we get to Franklin Avenue, you know, we just walk out in the middle and people would be patient and all.
Yeah.
And so when the new police chief came in and they said, you're going to have permits. And we don't need that. We've been doing this. We're a little group and all. So the big march that day was the police surrounding the place. And every time we tried to march, they put us back on the sidewalk. So with that exception, and with, you know, the coronavirus and all last year, you know, we've paraded every other year. And, you know, one of the most special years was the year following Katrina. And, you know, that was such a horrendous experience for so many of us and all. Yeah. And people had gone through all the different various mindsets, you know, about FEMA and the road home and, you know, contracts and everything under the sun. And there was a lot of doubt on whether there was even going to be any type of Mardi Gras that year. And looking back on it, I think it was one of the most special Mardi Gras ever. Yeah. We were in a spirit of restitution and restoration, and everybody was just tired of all the stuff they'd having to go through, and that was a day to just really enjoy each other and celebrate and kind of convince ourselves that we were all going to make it through this together. So, you know, that was a very special moment. We traditionally start our festivities the Friday before Mardi Gras. Friday night we have what's called a Captain's Soiree.
Okay.
And when we lost the Bacchus Bar, we've had the Captain's Soiree for the last, oh, goodness gracious, 5, 6, 7 years at BJ's in the Marigny. And that's kind of a special night for us. And we start attitude adjustment around 4:20, magic good number. And we have a tremendous free buffet. It's a potluck, and everybody brings all kinds of food. We have Jimmy Bolero, Red Beans Bolero, and his band, playing a lot of 504 and New Orleans music. Mm-hmm. And we have special appearance from our good man, Al Carnival Tom Johnson, who does Carnival time 4 or 5 times during the course of the night, and everybody's singing along. But the unique thing about it is it's all free. There's no charge, no cover at the door or anything like that. We invite everybody to come and join us, to take part, fill themselves at the buffet, and enjoy themselves with the music and all. And at a certain point, we kind of meander the former kings and queens, and we go ahead and we pick our king and queen for the year. And then we come back, we make the announcement, and then we do a little more toasting, and then we try and get home to get at least a couple of hours of sleep before we start the next day.
We had the privilege of meeting I guess he's the outgoing king now. Was the last Friday?
Vince Castilla.
Right.
Yeah.
Is he? Yeah.
He's unique.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy.
First of all, he's an expatriate from Baltimore. Okay, we have gotten he and Bob Bennett, and Vince lives at Bob's house. Bob bought a little house in Gentilly, and they've been absolutely incredible additions to our group. Just nothing but positive and all. And he had called me and told me he'd talked, and I said, yes, indeed, any kind of publicity we can get.
Yeah, he was
we're all
super excited. Yeah.
And this is the unique thing about Vince. Because we didn't do anything last year, we didn't name king and queen. So Vince and his queen have actually served for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's unique. We've never had that before, But
Oh, yeah.
So you were about to go into the big day before I'd interrupt you.
okay, not a problem.
Yeah,
We start off early, okay? We start off at Miltonberger Park, which is at the corner of Fillmore and Peoples Avenue in Gentilly.
Okay.
And in the park there, we have a couple of little shelter houses where they're selling what we call drewsies, which is our Drew koozies, and different memorabilia, T-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, everything under the sun. And we have a DJ, Will Ladner, okay. And his buddy are there to DJ during the day. Sometime around, I guess, 2-ish or so, the Roland Timbala Review starts kind of percolating, percussionists, okay? And that takes us basically to about 3 o'clock, and that's when we roll into the streets of Gentilly. We have 5 or 6 stops along the way where we have a toast to historical places. And in past years, we wound up at St. Roch and Prentice, where we'd have our celebration. 3 years ago and 2 years ago, we had changed our route where we left the park and came back to the park. Well, this being the 50th, everybody said, hey, we got to go back to the roots. So we're going to leave the park around 3 o'clock. We're going to come down Dreux to St. Roch to Prentice, take a little loop. We're going to have a stage set up there. We got a little reviewing stand, a poor man's reviewing stand. We're going to be offering cash prizes for first, second, and third costumes and first, second, and third best decorated vehicles. We have a beautiful band, Cloyd Bryant and the All-Stars, are going to be playing. They got their lights and everything and all, so we'll be doing that till about 7:30 at night. We the next night, once we survive that, we have a party bus to the Orpheus Parade. And at another one of those magic hours at 4:20, we meet at the Homedale Inn in Lakeview for attitude adjustment. We hop on the bus at 5:30 and we go to the Orpheus and Proteus Parades right next to the Avenue Pub.
All right.
And then we get home and try and get a couple of hours of sleep. And then on Tuesday, traditionally, we all march with the crew of Cosmic Debris. And that's, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but that's certainly a group you want to interview at some time.
Okay.
Alan Langoff. It's a group of eclectic New Orleans characters. But they go door to door to different watering holes and all.
Frenchman Street.
On Frenchman Street.
Right off.
And then we traditionally wind up on the corner of Harry's Corner on Charter Street in the afternoon, And that's kind of our winding down, Tom. And as I told Arthur, I said, we spend the next 6 weeks trying to recover. Yeah.
We go on quite the run ourselves here. I know what y'all talking about.
But I mean, y'all are going on like a 5-day.
Oh, yeah.
To lack of better words, a bender. Probably.
Sean, the most important thing, and the biggest thing we're trying to do is, when we leave on our march, we invite everybody to join in. We tell them, you've got a musical instrument you can carry, bring it, tambourines, wood blocks, if you got a bottle with a stick, anything you can add to the percussion and all. And we'd love to have, and we open to groups, some of these crazy groups like the Muffaletta Girls and things like that would be just so honored to have any of them join us, and it's an open invitation. And like I said, we'll have some vehicles decorated for us and all, but we really would like to get as many people to participate as possible, in this very special year.
So it sounds like membership is almost like an open membership, or
Open membership, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
where there's not
It's,
like an official
We call them,
membership roles per se.
whoever
No.
comes.
You're talking about, now when you say membership, we
People
have our
that
kings and queens, we call the royals and the loyals.
Okay.
So we have a Facebook page with the Krewe of Dreux. We also have the Krewe of Dreux Friends. Okay?
Call them Drewsters.
So, but that's, it's a group that's dedicated to harmony, as you can see on the shirt.
I love my new
Peace.
shirt, by the way.
Love,
Thank you.
music.
And like I said, unfortunately, over the years, we've lost some kings and queens and all, and
Yeah.
so it's, always a pleasure to get some new blood in and all. We've actually got generations now, oh my goodness gracious. One of the little girls that we remember being carried in a papoose, Victoria,
Oh, yeah.
Nick's wife. Little girl was in a papoose, and about 3 years ago, all of a sudden, her mother comes up and says, "Do you know who this is?" And I looked and went, "Oh, no." I said, "Go away and don't come back till you're 10 years old again." I used to give her like a little rubber crawfish, now she's a young woman. It's like, oh, no. Are we that old?
We are. So, like, we always went to one single spot for Bacchus every year, and we started doing it when we were kids.
Uh-huh.
Well, now my son goes, and he's much older than when I
love
started
it.
going, and I'm like, oh, no, come on. We're the dads now.
We've been going to our traditional thing. We'd have that, of course, we'd start on that Friday night. Well, we used to, when they had the ball, it'd be a week-long thing. And every night they'd be showing stills of the previous year's parades and things like that and all. And then over the years, it became the Friday and the Saturday. And on Saturday, we resuscitate ourselves and wound up at Mom's Ball, with a huge following. So then Sunday, we used to be out there to kind of recover a little bit, but now, it's nonstop. So usually by Ash Wednesday, they could do the last rites as well as the ashes on most of us. I'm telling you.
Oh,
So you mentioned that y'all throw, or that in the early years there was a wooden doubloon that y'all were throwing?
Well, we have wooden nickels this year.
Okay.
And
That's
on
to
the
be
front
the
of the
first, yeah.
wooden nickel is this.
right.
And on the back is the back of the shirt, the 50 years with the crown, with the all hair.
Oh, yeah.
So, and we started out one of these little whims about one of the girls said, Joanne said, "I'm going to get some wooden nickels." And it sounded like a good idea. So we started looking into getting a couple more. And then we worried about if we, could get 1,000. And today I had a call and raised it to 1,800. It's like, it's taking off like wildfire. We also have the royalty cups. And that's something that
We also have tote bags.
give out along the way.
Cups,
Tote bags,
what else?
the hoodies.
The hoodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to. And we set up the day. We usually get there about 10 o'clock in the morning. Me and the first queen, and we set all the merchandise. Shirts, hoodies. The cups are for kings and queens, and we hand them out to whoever, so they're not for sale, but it's a specialty royal item, so. But we they've been selling the shirts since the third year?
Oh, goodness
I think
gracious, yeah.
maybe 1973, 74, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's what pays for everything. That's what puts on the Drew Day.
I had to get a
So-
new dresser because all the shirts are here
Yeah.
from all the years past.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Right.
I have at least 2 drawers are all Mardi Gras at the bottom, and it's like the winter clothes.
Right,
so
yeah.
Right
You know,
when King's Day comes along, put those in the top drawer.
A lot of
I'd like to
people
tell you a
lost
little
their,
story.
their shirts during Katrina, you know, so
I'd like to tell you a little story. You know, I tell you, we got to a point where we just had thousands. We had people who would come in to New Orleans to come share that with us and all. And 96, we couldn't parade because of the permits and all. So I saw a little drop off in the crowd of sorts. Okay. We had Katrina, which, you know, dislocated so many people along those lines. But word got out, they had people coming to see what New Orleans was going to be like after Katrina. You know, what was Mardi going to be like? So all these press people from UPI International and Reuters, and Associated Press, descended upon the city, and basically they were coming to check out Endymion, this big grand parade, and they heard about this eclectic little group in Gentilly that was going to march through these deserted streets, you know, and our motto that year on the back of the shirts, it was Chili Gentilly, hell yeah, we're still here. So they show up, and it's kind of a strange day. It looks like it's gonna rain and all. Endymion, the big parade that night. Well, they show up over at our place and they interviewing us and having a kick. And finally, man, they're like really apologetic. Listen, we're gonna have to break off and go to do Endymion, but we want to march with y'all for a little bit if that's okay. I said, are you kidding? This is a parade that we entice and ask everybody jump in. You see the parade coming by, you be part of the parade. Get in here with us, okay? So we start marching with the group, and all of a sudden, man, it starts turning purple. Looks like poltergeist or something, okay? And it starts coming down. Well, to make a long story short, Endymion postpones their parade, moves it to a Monday because of the weather. So here's all these journalists. They're with us.
Right.
So people were sending me stuff from Amsterdam. I mean, news went out all over the place, you know, because a lot of things were curtailed, but we weren't. We were still here. So we had 2 other years where we got slammed by monsoon weather, you know, and you know how that is. You look out the door and it's raining sideways. You start having second thoughts about how comfortable that sofa or bed feels, you know. So little by little, you know, we've been trying to grow and increase our size and things like that and all. So like I said, the biggest thing for us, the happiest we would be is the more the merrier. You know, come on down and join in and feel a part of it. Don't think you're intruding. You know, we welcome you with open arms.
Really is.
Yeah, well, I've seen how many followers y'all have on Facebook. There's, you know, I think it was like close to 10,000 on the Friends of Facebook.
And we invite them all to come. We have room for all of them.
And it's a super active community to where, you know, every day I'm seeing updates, not just from, you know, I would say crew officials, but, you know, from different people who are like, oh, here's a picture from when I was in college, and I walked in it, and, you know, and they're naming off a date, you know, whatever year it was, and you're seeing the history of the crew photographically coming across throughout the time. That's very interesting to me to see how the history of the crew is kept active via that community.
When Arthur talked to us, we met with Lynn and started talking about it and all. And when she called me to read me, you know, a little bit of the opening text and all, and I'm paraphrasing it this time, but she said, you know, well, she said, here's where it starts. She said, Carnival in New Orleans has a place for everybody. You don't have to be as grand as Rex or as big as Endymion. There's a place for everybody, no matter how small. Everybody contributes to the egalitarian concept of the culture. No greater example of this exists than the eclectic Gentilly Krewe of Dreux.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what,
said,
it brought tears to my eyes. You know, it really did. It was like one of those, you know, like, my goodness gracious, what a wonderful thing. So he just sent us a copy this past week and all, and like I said, they're going to send out 40,000 copies. So, you know,
Yeah.
We're gonna be we're gonna be in the limelight there, and hopefully, like I said, it's a situation where we get a lot of people to come out and join us and all. We can't tell you how much we appreciate the opportunity you're giving us.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, are both of y'all year oneers?
Well, actually, I came in right about on the second to third year. I lived like 8 houses away from the first captain,
Okay.
Big Dave LeBon, and I got his sister Sandy. She's big. She was a big part. She passed, and we're just all friends. And sooner or later, of course, when how we all met, the clubhouse, Bacchus Lounge was where
Yeah.
everyone used to go. That was our clubhouse, and we 16 years old, going in and getting a pitcher of beer, the
Yeah.
whole pitcher of beer, and then it just stemmed from there. I mean,
What king were
that
you?
was-
Number what?
I was number 30.
He was
Even
30.
though I was
All right.
still around.
I was
for
king
all those
32.
years, yeah, but yeah.
So this would be our 50th, 50 years.
Right.
Boy. Phew.
So
You'd been with him the whole.
No,
the
no,
whole run?
no, no. I knew Dave. I knew a bunch of the people.
Okay.
I was in the music business at the time, and I was working with a band called Flavor, and we used to play a lot there and all, and make the crew, and then just after the first time visiting, I said, "Oh, this is really something special," and it's Saturday for Mardi Gras, so once you made one of them, it was like you didn't miss another one after that.
I know a couple people that have done it every year for years now, and I'm like, "Hey, what are y'all up to?" "Oh, we're gonna do Drew." I'm like,
Usually, once you go,
Yeah.
you're gonna come back.
We had our
They
meeting
can't
Wednesday
wait till
night.
next year.
And our third king, R.J. Jolie, drove in for Tallahassee just to make the meeting to meet some of the newer people who he hadn't met yet. And he's going to be our grand marshal, for the
wow.
parade now. But, it's kind of so we had our first queen and we had our third king there, present, and Jose.
Yeah, Jose was number.
Yeah, number 4, I
4,
think.
yeah.
So goes back over quite a few years. It's been a fun group.
You mentioned you'd like to see some of the dance crews and all join up with you. Have they ever shown up, or have they ever had an opportunity? I
One
should
year,
say?
there was a Scandinavian group in
Right.
town,
Oh man, this is
dressed all in black, and they did an interview on WWOZ and heard about our parade. So I get a phone call on Friday night saying these people would like to come down and all, but they don't have any way of getting there. I said, well, tell me where to get them and we'll organize some car brigades. So we got about 5 of us. They were all staying at a shotgun double on Frenchman Street. There's about 45 or 50 people,
oh wow.
guys and girls,
So
dressed all in black, okay? And they were from Scandinavia. And they had their music, but they had dance moves. They were incredible. So they came and joined us, and we merged them in when we got over to the Bacchus with our Roland Timbala review guys, and it was just magical, just really magical. We've got another little group. I'm just not familiar with the name or anything. It's going to join us this year, a group of girls. And, this is the greatest thing about this city is on a drop of a hat. Look how this thing was conceived. Mm-hmm. We ought to have our own parade. Done. So I think that's the greatest thing, and that's what we try and stress, that we're reaching out for you to come and take part and be part with us, raise the pleasure level, man, by adding your energy and all.
yeah. Well, it's like the old adage: the more, the merrier.
Oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
So I always knew it was kind of an open, come on in, but I thought it was at least a sign up, But no, you just show up and
everyone's
join in.
welcome. Yeah.
We're
Everyone.
open to everybody.
Yeah.
We're open. Always have been. It's a free celebration, and it's open to all who care to take part. We welcome
Can't
them
beat that
gladly.
price.
Big Dave LeBayan was a big guy, okay? And one of our kings that we've lost, Steve Watsky and I don't know how this happened, but some kind of way we got volunteered to do this chore every Drew Day, because when we marched from the park and we got to the corner of Franklin and Drew, where the original fourplex was, there was still a dumpster outside, and Big Dave LeBion, who was Big Dave LeBion, was bigger than you, and always had these frayed overalls on with a pink undershirt, underwear shirt underneath. You know, he was a character. And he would get on top the dumpster. And I don't know how this happened, but in some way, my friend Steve and I, one of our kings and I, we became his way of getting on top the dumpster. So he'd like put his leg on your shoulder and then like mashing your head, and we'd be trying to get him up there and all, you know. And Dave, God bless him, you know, he had diabetes. And it was always one of those times that, you know, this is one of the things I didn't personally look forward to, because he was a big guy, and I mean, he was mashing you to get up there. But we'd get him up there and we'd be like, Jesus, another year we made it without a heart attack, okay? Dave got diabetes, and he had to have one of his legs amputated. And, you know, sometimes people can find humor in somber situations. And there we were marching, and Dave was in a wheelchair, and they were pushing him, and we got to the dumpster. And one of our kings turned to me and says, "Hey, Jimmy, one good thing, it's going to be a lot easier getting him up there this year." And we went, "Oh, man, how did he say something like that?" But Dave LeBion was just like he was like none of a kind, not to be confused with one of a kind. He was a big guy, he was loud and aggressive, and he would go in a place like the Abbey on Decatur Street, sell these shirts, boom, and leave. That's it. You better sell the shirts. Not, would you be interested in selling shirts for us this year? Sell these shirts, you know. So he pretty much ran things, man, you know, the whole time and all until he passed away and all. And,
he also had the big connections with the college campus, Tulane students, Loyola students.
UNO.
Every year they used to come in and purchase shirts, you know. Yeah. UNO, yeah. He was known all over New Orleans.
Do you have a spot that just has them for sale all the time?
Well,
I mean, outside of
what we have right
website
now, the Homedale Inn sells out our shirts and T-shirts and hoodies and totes. We got a new place on Franklin Avenue called Nola Crawfish King and Barbecue. They have been incredible. We had Cafe Gentilly, and that's what we were using on Franklin Avenue in years past, but the proprietor went ahead and sold the place and all. So this is like 2 doors down, and never received us with open arms. Elizabeth's Restaurant on Gallia and Charters, one of our kings, Mac McCann, is a chef there. So he puts them out of there. So between them and the Homedale, and then, you know, and all people have to do is they can go on PlayPal, or they can, you know, identify us. I have a free delivery service.
What's the what's in the place where the original meeting spot was, or that, you know, that town
vacant lot? I mean,
you had a service station that was no longer in operation, and next to it was a little hole in the wall bar. Okay, and with Katrina, when Katrina hit, they had 18 feet of water there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, this was the Katrina year. We went in there. The yard was weeds this tall, okay, that it literally took us 15 minutes to get about 25 yards from the front gate to the back door. We came in with a crew, we cleaned it up, we fixed the gutter pipe that was slated to be on a demolition list by the city. We did enough work to get it off the demolition list, and we opened it as our clubhouse, okay? But as years went by, you know, the owner decided to do something different with it and all. And, you know, we no longer had our clubhouse. So I guess it's easy to say that for the last couple of years, we've been like a friendly ship visiting friendly ports, you know.
Yeah.
We do a lot at BJ's. We do things at Homedale. We used to do things at Derek's place, which was the Treasure Isle out there by Gentilly and all. And we go down to the Cafe de Grill or the Blue Nile, and we've done different things at different events. I've tried to do more social things with the crew. We had a bad bowling night at Rock and Bowl, which I think there's still some dents in the lanes from some of the girls with the bowling and all. But we try and do different things during the course of the year, to get together as a group. We went to a Zephyrs game one Sunday and all, different things like that. And I think we're going to, as soon as Mardi Gras is over, I think we're going to go visit and try and get one of the basketball or baseball games at UNO, or just, show up as a little crowd and all, do something social. We had a thing planned for Dixie Brewery. We had 55 people signed up, and then when the COVID hit, they canceled the tours.
Yeah.
And then half our group got mad at them because we're changing the name from Dixie to Fallburg.
So my family has a long history with Dixie. My grandfather was a brewmaster.
Oh, really?
Oh,
God bless
yeah,
you.
my dad's like, what the hell? That's not New Orleans. I think it is. It's a neighborhood, so.
I got a buddy of mine. I taught for 25 years, and then when I left teaching, I was in the movie business. And I worked with people all over the world. And one of my good buddies was Michael Badalucco, who's an actor on the practice. You've seen him a million times, The Sopranos, all kinds of different stuff. And Michael came to town. We did a little movie about two Italian families, back-to-back pizza parlors in Verona, New Jersey. And they wouldn't talk to each other because one claimed the other one stole their secret formula in Italy 5 generations ago and things like that. Boy and girl meet, love, and Michael was one of the parties in the thing and all. We got to be close friends, and he took a liking to me and my dialect. And I said, well, Michael, I said, my dialect is kind of like an official New Orleans dialect, and it's called Yat, Y-A-T. He said, Yat. I said, yeah. It comes from, where you at, darling? Where you at, baby? Well, he was mesmerized. He goes home for a weekend. He comes out on Monday on a film set, and he goes, Coach, I got to tell you, I went this place, and this lady thought I was a yacht. He was so excited. He was from Brooklyn. So we still stay in touch constantly and all. I sent him one of our shirts. So he sends me a picture back. He's on the set with his shirt and all, just absolutely delighted and all. And I said, Mike, I got to tell you, it's really funny how word gets out and things like that. My wife and I took a little escorted bus tour to America's national parks of the West. And we went Bryce Canyon, and I happened to have a Krewe of Dreux shirt on. And all of a sudden I hear, oh, hell! And I turned around, and some guy from Minnesota had come down me and to visit a friend and wound up coming back every year after that. Wound up, he was a guy who used to come to the parades and all. Never saw him before, he was one of the masses, But just to show you how funny that was,
So literally, it is a situation to where, you mentioned earlier that it got coverage as far as, in Amsterdam.
Worldwide,
and, worldwide. Yeah. And, you're going on trips, to Minnesota and, running into people who are very familiar with the crew, that the crew has an international reputation, shall we say.
Right.
So that's amazing to me.
Very dedicated following.
It's a borderline between famous and infamous. And we're not really sure which one we prefer,
Go with infamous. It seems fitting, though, to be honest.
You have the regulars that come from, you socialize with the guests and everything. People from London. I've seen people from, like I said, Switzerland and China. Quite a few countries, and they
really
come
funny.
down just for that every year,
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I think what people like about it is the authenticity of the group.
Right.
It's really a real New Orleans type. I said it has a lot of character in all those characters, And one of the things that I found and work with the movie business, where I work with people from all over the world, you take on. It took me a while to get away from New Orleans to appreciate some of the things that are so special here. And one of the things that I've always noticed, people say, "Man, they went into this place, and then 5 minutes, a guy acted like he knew me all his life." We're a very welcoming society. You know, we really are. And I think that natural hospitality, people come, and it's wonderful to go to a place where people seem excited to see you there. It makes you want to come back again. And I think that's one of the allurements, of Mardi Gras and of the city as it is. It's just, I used to tell all these people, I said, let me tell you something. New Orleans is not, really like an American city. It's more like a third world melting pot now. I said, in fact, New Orleans, I said, you get up around Baton Rouge, you're getting into a completely different thing. You're going from a French Catholic, heritage to an English Protestant. And no two things could be further apart than that. It's just a specialness down here. People reaching out and all, and just take you on no matter what. Bring your baggage, park it at the door, sit down and have a beer and some king cake.
Well, yeah.
I've always loved we're the northernmost Virgin Island or something like that. We say, I always just thought that was a perfect description.
Well, I would go so far as to say that, in times past when I've been to, like New York or, a different city, you almost feel uncomfortable asking for directions. Here, if a tourist doesn't ask me, a good place to eat or, a good place to go get a cold drink or whatever, it almost feels offensive, that we are very hospitable just by nature.
And you're not going to get told, go north or south. You say, it's on the riverside or the lakeside, right towards Slidell or Kenner. I always enjoyed meeting with people from other places when they get into New Orleans, start talking about the food and things. And I said, I don't know of any other place where people sit down to eat and they talk basically about where they ate last and where they're going to eat next.
Yeah.
I said, you're a rock star if you're a chef in New Orleans. You better have good food or you're closing down.
Yeah, you would almost think that would be disrespectful to be talking about another restaurant while you're eating at, like sitting at Brennan's, eating, a nice steak or whatever, and talking about, I had this dish over at Mandina's up the street, and it was incredible,
Seafood, yeah.
So, let's see. So, as king, what are some of the responsibilities that you have to fulfill?
It's very serious. You have to plan as many parties as possible, and you have to make sure that you're keeping up with the Joneses in every capacity. But it's when you're king and queen, basically it's a free ride that year. I remember the year that I was king, and we had a little picnic out in West End Park, and there was a lot of traffic, and I was out in the middle of the street trying to direct some traffic so we could get this young lady pull in with her ice chest and all. And somebody said, "Hey, Mary, hey, you're the king, man. You don't do that. You get somebody else to do it." Now, the day after, you're not the king anymore. Hey, you're still a king, but you owe me, brother.
They're like a frat house.
It's a ceremonial role with very few responsibilities. That year, our philosophy is that year, that's your year. Just enjoy it. Take a glide, take advantage and milk it for all it can worth.
Oh, yeah. I was, it's like 6 months after I was king and going down to Decatur Street at nighttime with a group of people. And all of a sudden, I don't know, this guy from Adam, he goes to the Krewe of Dreux, but he's bowed, he's down on the ground. All hail the King of Dreux. I said, oh, okay.
I'll tell you a funny one. I was shooting a movie with Melanie Griffith, and we were in the warehouse district. Little traffic along the side, and I'm on a sidewalk like that. And, of course, the traffic, they didn't stop the traffic. They let the traffic just go because it wasn't a big scene dialogue-wise or anything like that. I was a boom operator, so here I am, boom out like that. The camera's rolling, and we're in the middle of the scene. All of a sudden, car goes by. Oh, all him. It was our King Jose, our fourth king, hollering at me. Well, everybody's looking around, and I'm like this.
That's a keeper. Keeper that.
Yeah. Cut. Who was that?
So you mentioned celebrities. Have y'all ever had a celebrity serve, either
No.
in a royalty role or?
Haven't. A grand
Are
marshal.
you aware of any that have, I guess, participated in Krewe of Dreux?
No, not
Years
really.
ago,
John Laracat and I worked together on WWM Radio, Mother Radio, many years ago. And I know John made a bunch of our parades, you know, before he became famous with Night Court and everything, and Stripes. What's Harry's name? Shearer? That was on Saturday Night Live. On Mardi Gras Day, we traditionally start out by the All Bar. And that's a crowd of people. And I might be forgetting his name. It's Harry, but you'd recognize if you saw him. He was on Saturday Night Live for some years. And he's always sitting on the stoop right there across from the way and all. You know, we renew acquaintances and everything and all. And then we moved from the All Bar over to the Blue Nile, and that's where we start. I tell you, you've got to have Cosmic Debris. I'll give you a phone number before I leave for Alan Langoff. They are incredible. They got a little group, the Paradise Tumblers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? It's kind of like the little group that kind of marches with them each year. And that's another one, the more the merrier. Everybody just jumps on in, instruments, everything under the sun and all. And they go from place to place and wound up at the river where they usually throw some ashes in for different, you know, departed and things like that. And that's kind of an all-day endeavor, you know. But I would say we've probably been with them for about 47 years. I think 45, somewhere up in there, you know. It's been a long and interesting thing.
So there's a strong brotherhood.
What a long, strange trip it's been, you know, to quote the Grateful Dead.
So y'all have strong brotherhoods with other crews out there.
Oh, yeah.
besides,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. I had two nieces who were both queens of moms, you know. So we've had quite a few of our kings and queens who are also kings and queens of moms, okay? We've got a good bond with the Krewe of Oak, which operates out of the Maple Leaf. Okay, and a couple of years ago, we for the first time we kind of made some new friends in the Société des Champs-Élysées.
Yeah,
Okay.
we interviewed with them a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they were kind of a fun group.
Yeah, they were a real fun
Met some
group.
people from Red Beans, Joan of Arc, and different groups. And you know, that's the greatest thing about New Orleans. You know, when I grew up in Gentilly. Okay, I'm the elder of the group. I'm 76 years old. So you know, that means I get all the trash responsibilities thrown on me because I don't know how to run fast enough to get away from it. But it's an honor. But I grew up in Gentilly, and my parents had a hardware store in St. Bernard and Claiborne. So at an early age, I'd see the Bone Men, you know, and the Sadie Hawkins girls, you know. I mean, that was and the Indian, the Mardi Gras, Indian tribes and all. I mean, it was just, you can imagine as a kid, 3, 4, 5 years old, you know.
Yeah, so you
It
know.
was just incredible. So we were just so fortunate to see that. You know, one of the greatest things about New Orleans, one of the greatest things, I'm so proud of this, you know, as we came up, I can remember getting on the bus for 7 cents, okay? We took buses all over the place. And they had the little wooden sign, colored patrons behind this thing. It had the little holes in the back of the seat, and signs would move and all. You know, we went through a lot of the same stuff that a lot of places did in the Deep South, the Jim Crow era, things like that and all. But to our great benefit, we came through that period, you know, of civil rights just so much more gracefully than so many other places. And I think it was because we had this culture of mixing, you know. I played so many ball games when it was technically against the law to play against the black teams and all. And we made great friends. And I think we kind of sashayed through that. We kind of sailed through that and all. And, you know, this is more a community that I think it takes people based on who you are, you know. And it doesn't matter. your religion, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter how much money you got, what school you went to and all like that. It's pretty much comes down to,
Character.
what you got to give.
Yeah.
What you got to give, And I think we enjoy each other, very much and all. I mean, look at the Saints games,
Yeah.
incredible,
Like I had a great experience when I lived in Mid-City area. It was like that. It's a very mixed neighborhood. I mean, nobody thought anything about anybody's skin or anything like that. Nobody cared. It's just, they do the best barbecue, so I'm going to his house tonight. Or like he's a good bartender, I'm going over there tonight. But
1962, I was a junior at Holy Cross, and I was in Sodality. It was a service group, Catholic service group. We went to a convention in Chicago. Oh, God, my first time in Chicago. Good God. We were along the lakefront for like 50 minutes, it seemed like. I'm like, the lakefront's about 10 minutes long, And I remember walking down the street and saying, how you doing? And people would look at you like, you're talking to me? And it was just so different, We were so much more welcoming, I think, along those lines and all. So anyway, I think that's the magical thing about our Mardi Gras. I think it gives us a time for everybody to put all your worries away, and you can be whatever you want to be on that magical day. And come one, come all,
Yeah, I'm completely agree how New Orleans is a lot more brotherly in that respect, to where
just outgoing,
Yeah.
Like you say, like I do the same. Go to other places and you get what are you crazy? Why you?
Go to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. When they built the new stadium, they had to put a perimeter because at the old stadium, some of the Eagles fans would show up to beat up the people in other jerseys.
Yeah.
Brotherly love. Wait, you sure about this?
You ever went to an old Raiders game? Those suckers were crazy.
Yeah.
Really.
I like them, though.
I would go. People are like, you're crazy. I wouldn't go. They're like, oh man, they're fun. They'll give you some hell though.
Oh yeah, or the dog pound in Cleveland. All the crazies.
So I really appreciate y'all coming on with us.
It's a
tonight.
pleasure. It's a pleasure. Yeah. Believe me, we appreciate it very much.
Again, where can people follow the crew?
We have a webpage, the Krewe of Dreux, and we have the Krewe of Dreux Friends. Okay, and once again, we march the Saturday before Mardi Gras every year. Come rain, come shine, or come hurricane. Okay, we be there. We still chilling. And, once again, I want to reach out and say, if you're out there and you ever felt like you might really like to do this, but you just don't know anybody, hey, man, grab something you can shake or ring or bang and come on, jump in there with us. We'd love to have you, and you'll feel like one of the crowd immediately.
Well, that's awesome. I'm definitely going to make my way over there.
Good.
All right.
Good. We'd love to have you. We'd be
I'd love
honored.
to see the traditions.
Well,
Oh yeah.
we'd be honored. We really thank you. We really
Thank you very
do.
much.
Thank you again.
Appreciate
So-
that.
Great.
Signing out. We'll see you on the route.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hell!
Yeah.
While you're strolling New Orleans, you ought to go see the